Are you considering a vacation to one of the beaches resorts? Are you stuck between Turks and Caicos and Negril? I can understand why. Both resorts are so great, it's hard to choose. My first consideration would be how easy it is to get to the island. Both Jamaica and Turks and Caicos have direct flights from major cities like New York, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Dallas, Chicago, Boston, and Charlotte. The problem is if you don't live near a big city airport and then you have to have a connecting flight. These days, that really raises your chances of having a flight delay or cancellation. We had a flight scheduled this past January to Montego Bay, Jamaica. Our flight was changed 2 times from Charleston, where we live, and it was a connecting flight. So I decided to fly out of a major airport instead so we could go direct. We drove 6 hours to Orlando to get a direct flight. It actually wasn't any different than taking a connecting flight, really. The 6-hour drive was about the same time it would have taken for the connection. Your choice about whether to go to Beaches Negril or Beaches Turks and Caicos could be made just based on the convenience of flights and their prices, and whether or not you have to connect or drive hours to a bigger airport. But Jamaica and Turks and Caicos are equally easy to get to from major airports. Once you land on either island, things change drastically though. Beaches Turks and Caicos is about a 15-minute ride from the airport by way of resort shuttle. It's very easy. Once you arrive at the airport, you go to the beaches desk to check in, and they quickly whisk you away in a shuttle to the resort. 15 minutes later, you are in the lobby with a drink in hand. When you land at Montego Bay, the process is similar, except the drive is about 90 minutes to the resort. And the drive is hilly and windy. It's a great way to see the countryside of Jamaica, though. But be sure to take Dramamine or something like it if you get car sick. Also, if you have small kids who need car seats, the resort shuttle is not equipped for that. We brought 2 car seats our first time and it was pointless. We couldn't hook them up in the shuttle. On arrival in Jamaica, the 90-minute drive doesn't seem too bad since everyone is likely excited to arrive at the resort and start their vacation. But on the return, it's not so fun to think about an additional 90-minute drive before a day of travel. I personally will do it again because I love the resort, but not everyone likes that kind of travel complication. So for this category, Turks and Caicos wins for ease of travel to and from the airport to the resort. The price of both resorts includes everything. It includes all of your food, drinks, activities, including scuba diving. It includes kids club from babies to teens. It includes tips unless you are staying in a butler room. Then you can tip your butler. Beaches seems expensive to many people. For our family, we booked the least expensive room we can comfortably fit in, and it has turned out to be worthwhile at about $900 to $1,000 a night for room and inclusions. Negril tends to be slightly less expensive than Turks and Caicos. For instance, a pretty basic and comparable room at Beaches Turks and Caicos costs $7,025 for 4 guests from September 9th through 16th, 2023. That's 7 nights. And at Beaches Negril, a similar room is $5,825 for those same dates. If you are a family of 4 and you want to book the least expensive room at Beaches Turks and Caicos, look for the Caribbean rooms with the king beds and the trundle bed. Otherwise, the other option is 2 double beds. We find double beds way too small. Luckily, they usually have rollaway beds as well that they can bring in. In Negril, they also have king rooms, but those rooms have pull-out beds, and I think you will also need a rollaway bed in those rooms so everyone is comfortable. At any beaches resort, you will not be in the room much anyway. If cost is a main concern, then Negril is a slightly better deal. There's no denying that Beaches Turks and Caicos is a lot bigger than Negril. They have many more restaurants to choose from, there are more pools, there's more walking at Turks and Caicos for sure, but the size of the property doesn't necessarily make it better. Although at Turks, there are many more room categories to choose from if that matters to you. And Turks does seem newer and fresher. Not to say that Negril isn't well maintained, because it is. There's just a very different vibe at each resort. Both have that tropical feeling and warm, friendly staff. There's live entertainment at both, and sometimes you become the entertainment. Here's where I think they differ. Since Negril is smaller and there are less places for guests to spread out, you tend to see the same familiar faces, guests and staff, throughout your stay. When we went to Negril, we had so much fun as a family. All of us found ourselves involved in the nightly entertainment. Whether it was a talent show for the kids, karaoke, or a silly dad dance-off competition, we all participated in some way. The entertainment staff are so fun and engaging in Negril. and you see them every day, so you get to know them a little bit. We even made some friends there and met them the following year at beaches Turks and Caicos for another family vacation. Turks also has a lovely entertainment staff, but there's just so many more people that it's less personal. I don't mean crowded, it's just bigger. For instance, at Negril, we actually met and chatted several times with the resort manager because he was around. At Turks, I don't think we would even cross paths. At both resorts, you can snorkel and/or scuba. My husband did his water certification for scuba at beaches Turks and Caicos. He did the scuba bookwork at home, and then he was able to go on 1 or 2 dives a day. He took that experience to Negril and was able to dive there too. I would recommend getting fully certified at home though. There's no need to spend hours of vacation time finishing up your scuba certification. Let's talk about the beach. Both resorts have clear, blue, warm water. You can walk a far distance on each beach too. When I think back to each beach, I'd have to give Turks a little bit more points for the beauty of their beach. It just seems a little nicer, almost like brighter. In Turks, they have a shorter beach with lots of chairs, and in Negril, the beach is broader and they have more tiki hut type shaded areas as well as lots of chairs. In Turks, the chairs are very close together, and in Negril, the beach chairs are more spread apart. And Negril definitely had more vendors on the beach, but it's easy to say no thank you if that's not your thing. Both resorts have a variety of rooms to choose from. Remember that the price that comes up when browsing the website is an all-inclusive price including everything, besides tips for butlers if you're lucky enough to be able to afford a butler room. As I've mentioned before, I usually book the least expensive room that we can fit in because we are rarely in the room and it's what we can afford. My best advice is to browse the room categories and availability. You will see that some rooms look a little dated and some look completely updated. I have found that regardless, the rooms are well maintained and clean. The pictures definitely represent reality. One thing that beaches really needs to fix that they still offer is double beds. They are just not a good fit for 2 people ever. They need to somehow find a way to upgrade to at least queen beds. Both resorts have double beds in some rooms, so beware. We really like the rooms that have the king bed and a trundle bed. We fit well as a family of 4. Each resort has villages that differentiate the types of rooms and style. Turks has the Caribbean and Seaside Village, Italian Village, French, and the Key West Village. The Italian Village is sort of the central hub of the resort. Negril has more like sections, and they refer to buildings such as the Santa Cruz Building or Savannah Building. Negril also has a new building with penthouses and villas, more on the high end. The food is decent at both resorts. Turks and Caicos has more choices, but I think Negril's food is slightly better. Negril has the Mill, which is a buffet for all meals, and the choices in food are good. Everyone can find something at the Mill. The sushi restaurant called Soy is excellent in Negril. Once we discovered it, we went there every night. Soy in Turks was also good, but the service was a lot slower. We also loved kimonos at both resorts. They do a great job with hibachi. We usually don't go to hibachi at home because it's so expensive and doesn't always fill us up, so it's nice to go there on vacation. I loved Café de Paris at Negril. I ate a lot of crepes. Such a sweet spot to go for coffee, snacks, and light food. The staff were always friendly and patient. The number one spot for food that my husband and I liked, though, is at Turks, the Jerk Shack. Jerk chicken and festival, which is like a lightly fried bread. It's more savory than sweet. Goes perfectly with spicy jerk sauce. But according to the beach's website, the Jerk Shack is temporarily closed. In Negril, my kids loved yo-yos. It's unlimited self-serve frozen yogurt and toppings. Sometimes when the kids were at the kids club, the nannies would take them over there for a treat. So sweet. Turks has some cute food trucks by the pool that the kids will love too, with ice cream and mac and cheese. It's hard to go wrong at beaches Turks and Caicos because they just have so many choices. Everyone can find something they will like. It's hard to eat at every restaurant. Overall, I would say that the food at Negril has a slight edge in taste, just a bit better. Most people will enjoy either resort because the choices are vast and there's something to please everyone. It is the Caribbean though, and you have to be patient. Things move a bit slower, so you have to just go with it. There were a few restaurants that will need reservations, and you can do that at check-in. You can't do it in advance. So the activities. If you are a lay by the beach or pool kind of person, you can do that all day here. People do get crazy and get up early to reserve lounge chairs with towels and hats and books and things. We don't usually do that and have a perfectly fine time finding chairs at the beach. It's a little harder at the pools. Both resorts are the same in that aspect. Turks has a lot more pools though. They have at least one pool for each village, and the main pool is considered the Italian pool. But the Caribbean and French villages also have large pools. I like the French village pool the best. It's the quietest of the main pools. The Key West village has a few smaller pools. If you wander around that area, you will probably discover some sweet, quieter pools that might have only a few people enjoying them. Negril has two main pools and the water park. The lazy river of the water park winds around in front of the resort and is quite long. One tip is to try not to book the rooms on the water side of the Savannah building because the noise from the kids' splash area can be very loud, and I believe it runs 24/7. We had friends in one of those rooms and they asked to be moved. The water park in Turks is great. They have several slides, a surf simulator, a lazy river, and a kids' swim-up bar with colorful, fun drinks. In Negril, the water park has two slides and a giant lazy river and a super fun splash area with a giant bucket that fills up and dumps out every few minutes. Under the buckets is like a lifeguard chair. Kids love to sit there and wait to get drenched by the big bucket filled with water. The atmosphere at each resort is relaxed, so relaxed. You can't go wrong. It just depends if you want a big resort or a smaller resort. If you want more food choices, the staff at Negril seem friendlier, and that may be because they see you more often and become familiar. The Kids Club is for babies through teens. In Turks, there are multiple locations. There's a building dedicated for babies with lovely nannies, and another building for preschool-age children where characters like Cookie Monster come to make cookies with the kids. The elementary-age kids have an outdoor meeting space and do more activities around the property. There's a teen space and a video game room. In Negril, there's one main drop-off location for all the younger kids. There's also a teen space and video game area. They also have visits from characters. Both resorts have weekly parades with music, dancing, and Sesame Street characters. There are also add-ons like character meals and characters that will read bedtime stories. We did both and the kids loved it. One cool tip in Negril is that adults can go visit Sandals Negril, which is about a 5-minute drive down the street. You can eat and drink there and it's included. The kids can stay at the Kids Club. The front desk can arrange a taxi to Sandals. It's a fun little adventure for parents. Overall, I think the choice between Beaches Turks and Caicos and Beaches Negril is a very individual decision. And I hope I shed some light on all the happenings at each resort. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comments. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel too. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos linked here and on my channel. Enjoy your travels. See you soon.